He had served his country with honor, fighting in places most Americans couldn't even find on a map. Yet here, back home, on the very day meant to honor his son's achievement, he was treated like a threat. Two guards in crisp uniforms stopped him at the entrance, papers in hand, demanding he leave. His crime? Nothing more than being a black father, proud of his son. But what neither the guards nor the crowd knew was this: the Marine wasn't alone, and before the day was over, 6 Navy SEALs would make sure the entire room would never forget what they witnessed. It had been years since he'd worn his dress blues, but today he polished his shoes, straightened his collar, and looked in the mirror with pride. His son was graduating, the first in the family to walk across that stage with honors. For a man who had spent decades in service, surviving battles overseas, this moment was the one he cherished most. The auditorium buzzed with excitement, families filling the rows, balloons tied to chairs, the smell of fresh flowers carried in by relatives. For most parents, it was just another proud day. But for him, it was more than that. He had missed birthdays, holidays, and milestones while serving abroad. Today was his moment to stand tall and celebrate with his son. Walking toward the building, he carried no weapons, no uniform, no agenda other than pride. Yet as he reached the gate, he noticed the stares. 2 guards, both young, both white, exchanged looks before stepping into his path. Their tone was sharp, their posture rigid, as if they had been waiting for him. Families streamed past without interruption, but when he tried to enter, the confrontation began. This wasn't about policy, and deep down he knew it. This was about something far older, far uglier. He stood at the threshold of a day that should have been filled with joy, now shadowed by the sting of prejudice. And as the crowd inside cheered for other students, he was left standing outside, facing a test he never expected to face at home. The guards blocked his way, clipboards in hand. One held up a paper, insisting his name wasn't on the list. He calmly explained. His son was graduating today. His tickets were in his pocket, his family already inside. But they didn't budge. Their voices grew louder, their stance more aggressive. Parents nearby glanced over, curious, but unwilling to intervene. Some looked away, pretending not to notice. Others whispered, eyes darting between the Marine and the guards. He had seen this before, in restaurants, in stores, in neighborhoods where he was made to feel like a stranger. But today cut deeper. This was his son's moment, stolen by suspicion. The guards told him to step aside. He refused, standing tall, chest out, the years of discipline still evident in his bearing. Their tone shifted, commands, not requests. "Sir, you need to leave." Each word dripped with authority, as if daring him to resist. He felt the anger rise, but he knew what was at stake. One wrong move, one raised voice, and the story would be twisted against him. Inside, the ceremony was starting. Music played. Names were called. Applause thundered. He could hear it all, just beyond reach. His son was about to walk the stage, searching for his father's face in the crowd. And here he was, standing outside, blocked not by rules, but by prejudice. Then came the whispers among the guards, something about not belonging, about causing trouble. They didn't lower their voices, didn't hide their disdain. Each word was a reminder. In their eyes, his years of service, his medals, his sacrifices meant nothing. The tension grew thick. His fists clenched at his sides. The crowd nearby shifted, sensing escalation. This was no longer just about a ticket or a list. It was about dignity, about respect, about a father's right to witness his son's proudest moment. And that's when it happened. A group of men in the back of the line began to step forward. Broad shoulders, purposeful strides, quiet confidence. 6 of them, dressed in suits, moving as one. Veterans knew veterans, and they had seen enough. The room was about to change. The Marine stood firm, but inside he was breaking. His son was walking the stage, and he was missing it. The guards' voices grew sharper, one even placing a hand near his holster. The moment teetered on the edge of disaster. Then, slow motion. The crowd parted slightly as 6 men stepped forward. They weren't just any men. They were Navy SEALs, brothers in arms, who had once stood beside him in battles far from home. They had come quietly, unnoticed, but now their presence shifted the air. Each step was deliberate, their eyes locked on the guards. No words yet, just presence. The kind of presence that didn't need explanation. The kind of presence that carried weight. The guards faltered, their authority suddenly fragile. One stammered, trying to reassert control, but his voice cracked. The SEALs closed in, forming a semicircle behind the Marine, their silence louder than any protest. Families inside began to turn, sensing something powerful unfolding. The Marine didn't move. He didn't need to. For the first time that day, he wasn't standing alone. One SEAL leaned forward, his voice low but cutting through the noise. "He goes in. Now." The guards froze. Their hands twitched nervously against their belts. The clipboard seemed useless now, flimsy shields against a wall of unshakable presence. And then, like a dam breaking, the tension snapped. The guard stepped back, clearing the path. The Marine, eyes steady, walked past them. The SEALs followed, each step echoing with finality. Inside the auditorium, the crowd erupted as his son spotted him. The Marine slipped into his seat just in time to see his boy hold the diploma high, scanning the room until his eyes locked with his father's. For a brief, breathtaking moment, the world seemed to stand still. The ceremony ended with applause, laughter, and tears. Families gathered to celebrate, but in one corner of the auditorium, something deeper had taken place. The Marine embraced his son, both men holding on tighter than words could express. This wasn't just about a graduation. It was about being seen, about being respected, about standing firm in the face of injustice. The 6 SEALs stood nearby, not seeking recognition, not asking for thanks. They had done what brothers in arms always did, stand together when it mattered most. For them, this wasn't just about one man. It was about the principle that no soldier, no father, no human should be treated as less than. The guard avoided eye contact, their authority stripped bare. Their actions had been witnessed by dozens, their prejudice undeniable. And though they would walk away unchanged, the memory of that day would not fade. Too many had seen. Too many had understood. For the Marine, the moment was bittersweet. He had faced down enemies overseas. But here at home, the battle was different, quieter, more insidious, but no less damaging. Yet he had also witnessed solidarity, the power of unity against injustice. This story is not just about one father, one son, or one graduation. It's about the millions of moments, big and small, where dignity is challenged, where respect is withheld, where racism tries to silence joy. But it's also about what happens when others refuse to stay silent, when those with power, presence, or privilege step forward and say, "Enough." So the question remains, how many more graduations, how many more moments will be stolen before we all decide to stand?